turn mowers that are engineered to give you next-level comfort and premium cut quality. All supported by genuine parts, accessories, and trained service technicians you'll only find at your local dealer, so you can love to lawn for years to come. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers, visit East Lawn and Garden at 1632 East US Highway 36 in Urbana today.
So many words to describe Panera's new chef's chicken sandwiches, but just one bite will leave you speechless. Panera, the familiar made fantastic. Enjoy a $1 delivery fee when you order on their app. Restrictions apply.
Or follow on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Coming up Wednesday is Game 2 a must-win for the Nets, and does KD have to play at an MVP level for Brooklyn to win this series? That's Wednesday with me, Chris Canty, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Well, let's make sure for those watching live on Facebook and YouTube that Kev Nash is on the screen. And oh, look,
what up, though?
You left me alone yesterday. I got some, got some mean reviews on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page.
Heard you told somebody kick rocks.
That was nice.
I'm sorry, listeners.
I forgot what they said. I'm sure they had it coming.
Oh, I'm sure. Blame our loyal listeners on your outburst.
They started it. So anyways, what is today? Wednesday? Yes. The good news is yes, Kev Nash is back. So that's good news. The second part of good news is you only have to deal with me for 40 minutes today, 35 minutes technically. We will hand it off to the Reds on Radio Network coming up here in about 35, 40 minutes as Reds and Padres coming up around the corner. So that's a 4:10 first pitch. And the crazy thing is that when you think about everything that's happened with the Cincinnati Reds.
Sloaney asked her about the quote, show little faces,
I'm
right?
sorry, I played the wrong one. But
well, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go?
Let's start there.
Since that interview with Mo Egger, with Phil Castellini, just what it seems like forever ago, it was only a week ago, the Reds, Kev, have lost, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight games.
Ouch.
The Reds have not won a game since that outburst. You want to talk about my outburst? How about his outburst? He's a millionaire. I'm just some guy that's barely able to pay my mortgage. So the millionaire dude that owns the Reds, or is the son of the guy that owns it, I'm not really sure what's all going on in that situation, but 8 straight losses for the Reds since that little outburst. But here's the deal. Yesterday, of course, I annoyed some people because I wasn't defending the Reds front office. I was just saying, look, if you are going to watch this team and base it off of wins and losses. If you're going to, based on whether you enjoy watching this team off wins and losses, it's going to be a long season. For one, they are 2-10. There's 150 games to go. So my thing is with the Reds, this isn't about wins and losses anymore. It's frustrating because I think this might go down as being the worst Reds team ever, but we'll see what happens there. But so with that being said, there was something that happened last night that bothered me more than anything else that's going on with the losing. There's a lot of things that I look at the Reds right now and I say, you know what? I really enjoy watching Nick Lodolo. I really enjoy watching Hunter Green. Those are the 2 pitchers of the future. I can't wait for when Luis Castillo gets back because I said that, man, if you could imagine what a Reds rotation is going to look like here in a year or two when everyone's healthy and they actually have weapons out on the field to complement the pitching, imagine a playoff series that features Luis Castillo as your 1, Hunter Green your 2, and Nick Lodolo as your 3. And if, like I've said before, if Tyler Mahle is your 4, that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. The Reds will be in good shape. I do believe that better times are on the horizon. So not just saying that. Look, I got in trouble for how aggressive I was about the Phil Castellini take a week ago. So I'm not softening my stance on this because I got in trouble. But my point is I don't hold back. I'm very critical of the Cincinnati Reds. And right now they deserve it more than any other time in franchise history. I'm not trying to soften the blow here or, be a salesman. I've never been a salesman as far as that's concerned. But let's keep in mind one thing. As I currently sit here today, I'm trying for my mental health to find the little things when it comes to the Reds that helps me enjoy this season, because if you're basing it all off wins and losses, it's going to be a long summer. But something happened last night, Kev, that really bothers me. It bothers me a ton because the one thing about the Reds over the last couple of seasons has been the fact that despite the Reds not being the best team in baseball or one of the best teams in baseball, they may not win a lot of games, but they've always had a lot of fight. Mm-hmm. I joked the other day that one of my few memories that I could have enjoyed the Reds is featured Amir Garrett dropping down the glove, saying, F it, let's go. And he goes and takes on the entire dugout. How about Yasiel Puig literally taking on, you just see, I'll never forget that picture. It's legendary. The Reds are wearing their red jerseys that day. The Pirates are wearing their all yellow jerseys. And there's Yasiel Puig at home plate, and there's just a sea of yellow running at him, and he is just taking on every Pirate out there. The Reds used to have fight. They used to have, they were aggressive. They may not have won a lot of games, but damn it, you felt like they had each other's back. You felt like they were going to go down swinging, figuratively and literally. That's the thing. The Reds team had fight. And the problem I have is Tommy Pham, one of the new additions to the Reds, who is starting to hit swing the bat real well. I get that. But last night, Tommy Pham goes on this little tirade. Again, he's a former Padre after the Reds lost to the Padres. Tyler Stevenson goes down after an aggressive, ugly, dirty slide at home. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Stevenson is on the IL now. He has a concussion. And Pham comes out and basically cuts like a WWE style promo on Luke Voigt. And that's the problem I have, because at the end of the day, it comes down to, you're going to talk a big game after the game, because I feel like Nick Castellanos would not have let that happen. I mean, it was going to happen, but Nick Castellanos would not have let that happen without there being some kind of brawl. I'm sorry, not Luis Castillo, but obviously, Puig back in that time. The Reds have always had these guys, Amir Garrett. They had fighters in that dugout. Mm-hmm. They showed passion. They showed excitement. They said, hey, you may beat us, but you're not going to beat us. You're not going to beat us up.
You ain't going to punk us.
Yeah. And I feel like the Reds dugout, the clubhouse, they just don't have that. They don't have that toughness anymore. The toughness is all gone. And last night was a prime example. I'm not saying that every time something happens like that the dugouts need to clear. But sometimes when you're 2-10, you need to create your own energy. You need to create your own us against the world mentality. Because right now I think that the Reds' energy in that clubhouse is them against their own team, them against their own ownership, them against their own city right now. That sucks. So you have to kind of find a way to create your own passion, your own energy. Last night was an opportunity to do that. You're on the road against one of the top teams in baseball. They just punk you, as you said. They just knocked him out. And you wait, you don't see any anger or any kind of reaction at all until Tommy Pham wants to talk about, I know a gym. I know where I can meet you. We can settle this like men. And I'm like, what does that accomplish now? You can't talk a big game after the game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way, Pham. Literally, that's his name, Pham. I don't know. That just bummed me out. I'm bummed out by all the losing, but the Reds were no stranger to losing. But I've always felt that over the last couple of years, the Reds have had fights. They've had dudes in that clubhouse that are like, okay, you're not going to embarrass us. You may beat us, but you're not going to out physical us. You're not going to be that type of team that just steps on us, mocks us, laughs at us. And that's what everyone is doing to the Reds right now. And that's unfortunate. I thought Tommy Pham waiting till after the game to talk big. You don't talk big. You don't talk, you just don't have that kind of game after the game. It doesn't make sense to me. That's what's disappointing. The losing sucks.
How old is Pham?
In his 30s. Let me pull that up to see exactly how old he is. But that was a nice addition in the offseason. It was a quiet, nice addition, but it was kind of one that you felt like the front office didn't want to make, but they felt like they had to because of the backlash that came with getting rid of obviously Winker and not even trying to get Castellanos. But that's the frustrating part about it. So 34 years old. But that's my point, Kev, former Cardinal as well. Just no fight. That's your guy. That's one of your youngest players. And someone just took him out. And let's not talk about the fact that, it's kind of Stevenson's fault. I don't know why your body's on the outside of the path and your head's right in the middle of the path. And no wonder your head got knocked off. But at the same time, you didn't need to knee him in the head on the way to home plate either, Kev. Like, it's just the fundamentals for the Reds too. They're embarrassingly bad right now. Stevenson was out of position. How you have your body on the outside of the path and then your head's in the running path, it just doesn't make any sense. So there's just a lot that I was disappointed in. The result is at the bottom of my priority list right now, because if you're basing it off results, it's going to be a long summer. I'm bummed that they lost, but I don't care that they lost because that's what they do. But I do care that nobody had his back last night, and I think that that's a huge problem.
Speaking as a person that was never the most athletic or most talented player on any sports team I played on, either basketball or football or whatever, the one thing that I always was taught, especially from an early age, is you're not going to punk me. You're not about to debo me, as we call it where I'm from. You're not about to just do whatever you want.
I'll end you.
Yeah, basically. Like, me and one of my best friends, we had like this phrase when we used to play pickup basketball. Everybody says no layup rule. Everybody like is brought up that way when we're playing. Yeah, make them earn and everything like that. And then we started calling ourselves the jump out boys. Like, we gonna give you everything you want. You want to run twos before we go to the party tonight? Okay, you might be limping into this party. Like, we not going to make nothing easy for you. We going to junk it up. We was basically Patrick Beverly out there. Like, hey, man, if you going to beat me, you going to earn it. So, like, that's always been my mindset when it comes to any type of sport. Like, you got to make people earn it. So when you come to baseball and everything like that, it's not like a confrontational sport like where basketball, you're constantly in somebody's face. In football, you're constantly in somebody's face. When you do have those rare bang, bang type of plays, you can't be punked. And if you are allowed to be punked, that's going to follow you all season long. And that's why I know you and I differ about this whole thing with the pitcher throwing at batters and everything like that. That's really the only weapon you have as a team to say, you can't do that to my teammate. Because the pitcher has the power. Like, all right, we're somebody about to get hit in the back, just to let you know we not on that, or throw it high to let you know we not on that. So, like you talked about, wins and losses, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have good teams, you're gonna have bad teams. The one thing that my sister-in-law, me, and my wife are instilling into my nephew is you're not getting punked. No matter what, he's in boxing now and he's playing soccer and everything like that. And, he got pushed down at soccer the other day. And we're watching on Facebook and I'm hearing my sister-in-law grabbing like, you don't let nobody push you. You can't get punked. And there's retaliation that has to come. It just has to come at some point, especially at the major league level, man. So I know me and you are different about the high and tight ball to somebody's face. But
how are we different?
Because I know you don't like that. I know you don't like the unwritten rules type of stuff, but if you're getting punked like that, you got to let them know. You got to let them know, like, hey, y'all can win. That's fine, but you're not going to do that. And you're not going to do that to my teammate. And that type of stuff creates, morale on the team. No matter what's going on in upper management, you can't allow what's going on in upper management to affect what's going on in the locker room. Like, hey, it may be dysfunction up there, but in here, we got to stick together. So if I'm a Reds pitcher, if I'm a Reds player or batter, I'm looking at the pitchers like, hey, man, that's your job to send the message. So that's just where I'm at with it.
So unwritten rules, I don't like the unwritten rules that make baseball look soft. And I'm not against the one that you just talked about. We're actually on the same page.
Okay.
What I'm against is throwing at a batter because someone did a bat flip.
Oh, yeah.
So I see why you thought when I got mad at throwing at batters because it did a bat flip, that's soft to me because it was your pitch it was your mistake that led to him flipping that bat. That's on you. I think pitchers are soft. I really do. I think that they are some of the softest athletes out there because when they get a big strikeout, they'll do the fist pump. They'll scream in the air. They'll point up at the big man upstairs. They'll do all this fun stuff. But if a batter hits a home run, they're supposed to lightly put the bat down, jog, don't smile. Heaven forbid you smile and show any emotion. That's what angers me. But I'm with you 1,000,000%. And by the way, I do think, it is kind of funny what sports makes us do as far as what we normalize. You are literally taking a hard object and 100 miles per hour, throwing it at someone's head. I mean, I'm sorry. That's attempted murder. If I go out into the street and someone says, hey, Kenner, you're short and fat, and you know my temper, and I take a rock and I throw it at someone's head and I'm not athletic, so I'm probably going to throw it about 60 miles an hour. I'm going to prison. All right. So the fact that these
you get all the way up to 60.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself today, So, so these guys, when they get angry, they take this hard object and chuck it at someone 100 miles an hour at their head. Oh, they have a helmet. They'll be fine. It just fascinates me that they're children. They're children. That's basically. But anyways, to your point, last night, something should have been done after that. And nothing was done. I almost forgot about the dirty slide at home because nothing happened the rest of the way to kind of show that the Reds were pissed off about it. There was no high heat. There was no trying to hey, we're not happy. The next time Voigt's up at the plate. There was none of that. Yep. And there won't be any of that today. Bell tries to do the right thing. Like I remember when the Pirates, who was the manager for the Pirates years ago that they always got into it. It's driving me nuts. But I love those Pirates-Reds series. They're two of the worst teams in baseball, but damn it, that was must-see because they just hated one another. And it drove me nuts because they would throw at the Reds. The Reds would get plunked at the at home plate all the time, and the Reds would never retaliate. And David Bell says, "No, that's not how the game's played. We don't play that way." And I'm like, "But you're getting punked. You're getting punked. You are getting embarrassed." They're doing it because they know you're not going to do anything back. That's the problem I have. And last night, whether Voit did it intentionally or not, like I still think we got to be critical of Stevenson. Stevenson was way out of position, but at the same time, I don't know. It is what it is at this point. I just thought the Reds looked soft. The Reds lose last night. They lost their 8th straight. The Reds trying to end their losing streak as they close out the series on the road at the Padres, and they mercifully get to come home. I mean, they are just, I feel like it's been forever since that opening day fiasco that basically was the start to this losing streak when they got swept by the Guardians at Great American Ballpark. So the Reds will close out the season. I wish. Sorry, they'll close out this series against the Padres coming up here at 4:10, the first pitch, and then they will return home this Friday, and that will be against the Cardinals. They'll start a 3-game series, and then this very same Padres team will be back in Cincinnati. But they have a 6-game homestand coming up after they close out this road trip against the Padres coming up, and then they're right back on the road again with 4 at Colorado, 3 at Milwaukee. April's been brutal. April always buries the Reds, but this is different. This might be the worst Reds team ever. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm 30 years old. The one thing I complimented the Reds on during the previous rebuild was that they never lost 100-plus games. I know that's a weird thing to be happy about, but the fact that you don't have to utterly embarrass yourself to rebuild. They were still semi-competitive. There were stretches during that rebuild that they were making it interesting. Oh, they've won, 8 of 12, or the Reds catching fire. They didn't lose 100 games. They lost 90, but they didn't lose 100. This has the makings of potentially 110 losses this year. I'm not joking. This is bad. This is bad. Not to their credit, but they do have a lot of key guys on the IL. Lucas Sims will be back with the Reds at home on Friday. But it's about scoring runs right now. They can't score runs. That's brutal. I mean, look at, they lost 6-2, 4-1, 9-1, 5-2, 3-1. This has been brutal. They lost to the Dodgers 9-3. They lost to the Braves 2-1. I mean, they have had, of the 12 games that they've had, 9 of the 12 have resulted in 2 runs or less. That's a problem.
It's not going to be a fun summer because especially behind the curtain, obviously everybody knows here that I'm a Guardians fan, but since I've been doing the show with you, I tune into the Reds. I see how the Reds are doing because when you cover a winner and you talk about a winner, it's so much more fun than to talk about a team that's not winning. Why do you think we enjoy Ohio State football so much? Because they win a lot of games. That's why. Any team that wins a lot of games is way more fun to cover than a team that isn't winning games. And right now, the Reds look like they're going to have a very difficult season. Even for the team that I follow on a daily basis, who's probably going to be like a 500 team, there's ebbs and flows. Right now, it's 10-0 in the bottom of the second. That's fun. But right now, the Reds is not having any fun. There's nothing fun about watching them right now. And I think, for a person that isn't the biggest baseball fan in the world, but has to watch this for their job, this is not fun. This is agonizing. So I can only imagine how you feel or how our listeners feel as fans. You know what I'm saying? You're emotionally invested in this. This is going to be a long summer, man.
Yep. And keep in mind, another organization that gets a lot of criticism for bad ownership is the Athletics. They just had 3,000 fans attend a game. That wouldn't even lead the Horizon League in attendance, just so you guys know.
3,000 fans at a baseball game.
Baseball game, yep. Second home game of the season. And then what will happen is the fans don't go to games because the ownership craps all over them.
This is over the stadium thing,
and
right?
When fans don't go to the games because the product is bad, then the fans get punished because they say, well, you're not supporting the team, so we're just going to take it elsewhere. It's a double-edged sword. Fans aren't even allowed to be critical of their own team. It's amazing. We'll be back. 518-1410. We had some phone issues. We're trying to test these out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If not, the phones, if they're acting funny, head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. Let your opinion be known. I have a lot of opinions here in the chat section I'll get to. I see David Mitchell. What up, David? Steve, Jeffrey, Ron, Jeremy, and more. So we're going to get to all your opinions on the other side. 518-1410 or head to the Facebook page, The Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, and let your thoughts be known. Like I said, The losses, I'm kind of numb to the losses at this point. The problem I have is the Reds got punked last night, as Kev said a little bit ago. Like, you can't just let one of your players get blasted like that and then just go on with the game like, oh, no big deal. I hope he's okay. T's and P's, thoughts and prayers. Like, we just, come on, have a little fight in you. And the Reds have always had that fight. They've always had that fight, even in the previous years when they haven't been the best. But damn it, they did not let anyone get the best of them. They had that spunk. They had that fight. Amir Garrett tries to fight the whole clubhouse of the Pirates, right? The whole dugout. I mean, come on. There's none of that. There's no one in that dugout right now that is willing to step up to say, hey, we may not be the best team right now, but you're not going to embarrass us. But I think everyone's down right now. 518-1410. We'll be back.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Today, a mix of clouds and sun during the morning will give way to cloudy skies for the afternoon and a high of 61. Tonight, cloudy with occasional light rain late and a low near 55. Some higher wind gusts are possible. And tomorrow, for your Thursday, showers in the morning, then partly cloudy in the afternoon and a high of 68. I'm Adam Zellick for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at CulletSealCoating.com.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
From installing a smart garage door opener, to installing a bathroom faucet, to removing a tree, the Home Depot believes you can do anything, especially the things we have how-to guides for. Visit HomeDepot.com for thousands of tips, workshops, and ideas for projects, big and small. The Home Depot app, how doers get more done.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside? I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut them?
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can really control your savings. Because when you drive less, you save more with pay per mile. So you're really in control of your savings, only paying for the miles you drive. Yeah, life is good when you're in the driver's seat. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Norfolk, Illinois.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, we've got more ways to keep you mobile with huge deals on Mobile One motor oil. Right now, get a 5-quart bottle of Mobile One synthetic motor oil for just $29.95. Or get $5 back when you buy a 5-quart bottle of any Mobile One motor oil and a Napa Platinum filter. So wherever you're going and whatever you're driving, Napa helps you stay mobile.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, does not include taxes and fees. Advertised sales price not available in some states. Offer ends 4/30/2022.
Frickers Everyday Values are even better. Even better. Earn double points on everyday value purchases for a limited time. Download the Frickers app and watch your points double on everyday value menu selections. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday, steak dinner. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks.
Double the points, double the savings, double the value.
Make your money go further Monday through Thursday with everyday values when you dine in and download the Frickers app. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Rob tried to manage his constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. With Indeed, you can attract, screen, and interview candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
If you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty a call today, 937-572-7425. In fact, my fiance and I, we used Brad Mays to purchase our very first home back in late December, early January. And as we embark on our wedding coming up here in just a few weeks, we're really looking forward to being able to really settle in. Like, that's the thing. We haven't really settled into the house because we're constantly stressed to think about this wedding coming up. But it's going to be nice after the wedding to come back to our first home that we purchased through Brad Mays back in early January. So give him a call today, 937-572-7425. I highly recommend that you use Brad, one of the best in the area, and I promise you he will make sure he gets you that perfect home that you and your significant other or just you by yourself are looking to purchase. So again, 937-572-7425. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We only have about 8 minutes remaining here on the show before we hand it off to Reds baseball. Reds Padres, as they close out that 3-game series, the Reds have lost 8 straight, and all 8 of those losses that have come consecutively have all happened, well, basically right after that huge debacle with Reds COO Phil Castellini, the son of the owner, when he had this to say.
Well, where are you going to go? Let's start there. I mean, sell the team to who? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, you want to have this debate. You know, if you want to look at what would you do with this team to have it be more profitable, make more money, compete more in the current economic system that this game exists, it would be to pick it up and move it somewhere else. Yeah. And so be careful what you ask for. You know, I think we're doing the best we can do with the resources that we have.
We're doing the best that we could do with the resources we have. That's not exactly true. We don't have a lot of time to dive into that today, but nonetheless, the future looks bright. But do we get to the future? I mean, you have Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Luis Castillo. The hardest part in baseball is finding three dominant pitchers that you can go to war with. And the Reds have not had that in a while. In fact, the closest they had to it was Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, and Trevor Bauer. They had it for 1 year, and of course, that got blown up due to COVID. Trevor Bauer has the Cincinnati Reds' first ever Cy Young winning season. He goes on to the Dodgers. They just trade Sonny Gray away. Now you have Luis Castillo, but he's on the IL, so your best pitcher is Tyler Mahle. And actually, I don't think he is the Reds' best pitcher. I think that the Reds' best pitcher is Hunter Green, and Hunter Green is only 2 career starts under his belt. So that's where the Reds are at right now, and that's why they're 2-10. That's why they already have the worst record in all of baseball. And as if the win-loss record isn't enough to kill morale of Reds fans, the morale was already shot, dead, killed, suffocated when the season started, thanks to those comments from COO Phil Castellini. Those comments aren't going anywhere. I think that they're counting on eventually us forgetting about that, but I think that compounded by the Reds losing is why that's going to go nowhere. I mean, if the Reds had won 8 straight and look at the great story, they're overcoming bad ownership and look how great they're fighting and all that. But you know what? And the thing is, no one's mad at the team. No one's mad at the players. No one's mad at. Have you heard me complain about David Bell once? Because David Bell's managerial skills and decision-making, that's not why this team's 2-10 right now. In years past, I was very critical of David Bell over the last few years because you had talent. You had 2 all-stars in the outfield. You had a former all-star and Eugenio Suarez on the roster. You had Joey Votto, who turned back the hands of time a little bit last year and had MVP quality numbers last year. I mean, they had Sonny Gray. They had Luis Castillo. They had Trevor Bauer. They had hitting. They had pitching. Bad bullpen, yes, but, I mean, there's no such thing as a team that is perfect with the hitting and the bullpen in the rotation. So I was very critical of David Bell in years past, but right now, like, that's why when people got mad, at the Reds when they were rebuilding the first time with the previous manager, getting mad at him and holding him accountable for wins, losses during a rebuild is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not going to do that with David Bell right now. He's part of the problem, but he's not even in my top 5 list, bullet points of problems for this Reds team right now. So that's why you haven't heard me complain about David Bell.
So I'm not sure how everything is going now with, COVID is coming to an end, quote unquote. Are they allowing reporters into the locker room? Because are the players getting asked about the statements that were made still? Because I know they did like the first 2 days or whatever, and then they were on the road and everything like that. So do you think they're still being asked? And do you think like this is weighing on the team still?
I think this team is going to be bad no matter what, but I do think it's compounded the situation. I think it's made it worse because they have not been at home. Yes, there's media. I'm sure they're getting the questions more from opposing media. It's a good question because I haven't come across I haven't big either. Like articles or major interview clips of players kind of opening up about it. I would like to think that come this Friday when the Reds return home, or probably as early as tomorrow when they return home, that those questions are going to start coming in heavier from the local media. We'll see. I'm fascinated to see what the attendance is going to be like on Friday. And here's why it's a double-edged sword. I don't want to tell fans not to go to the games and don't support the ownership. But as I stated earlier, I've never gone to a game because of ownership. So I'm not going to not go to a game because of ownership either. But at the same time, the Athletics, look at that. That's a good baseball team. That's a very good baseball team, and fans aren't showing up. They had 3,000 fans show up to a game. And the double-edged sword for them is good. Fans should not support bad ownership. That should get the ownership's attention. But all it's doing is saying, well, we don't have fans that support us. And then the city says, well, we're not going to go through all the, these hoops to build a new stadium when only 3,000 fans are showing up to games.
Right.
Well, only 3,000 fans are showing up to games because of the bad ownership. Well, again, the city's like, we're not going to invest into a new stadium when you have bad ownership and a fan base that won't support the team because of the bad ownership. So if Reds fans stop going to games, you may think that, that'll show them, but all that's doing is now you're pushing the team out of Cincinnati, and that's unfortunate. Not blaming Reds fans. It's just a double-edged sword. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we are happy here in the Midwest that gas prices have dipped down to $1.45, but they're still over $5 and $6 out there in California and everything like that. So to expect people to pay those type of prices in gas and the tickets, and then you not put a winning product on the field, especially out there in California, I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Well, that wraps it up for us here today. The Red starting lineup: Farmer at shortstop, Drury the DH, Pham in left field, Joey Votto at first base. He'll hit in the cleanup spot. Joey Votto for 7, I'm sure. Nick Senzel, center field, batting 5th. Aquino in right field, batting 6th. Batting 7th is Moran at third base. Batting 8th is Lopez. He'll start at 2nd. Garcia behind home plate tonight catching, and Gutierrez will be the pitcher. 4:10, the first pitch. The Reds look to wrap up the series with the Padres before returning home this Friday against the Cardinals. Folks, have a great rest of your afternoon. A full 3-hour show. We'll be back tomorrow. Until tomorrow, it's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Reds baseball coming up in 6 minutes.
It's the Justin Kinner Show.
All right, can you make sure it is cleaned up?
Restaurant Week has Sanjay's tables jam-packed.
Can somebody please refill the...
He needs more servers to keep these new customers